Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast, infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, not available on Sundays, Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Podman team! Booyaka shot, boy! Hey, more fire. Flamethrower. Hit fire on these bitches. What up, man? Another day in the jungle. We out here living, surviving, keeping our head above water.
Give me some ammo, some ammunition.
What type of ammunition you need? Pay to shoot.
That's what we need right there.
There we go.
Yeah, man. Friday, April 24th is today's date. Yeah, my Lord.
Give our Lord.
I said, yeah, my Lord.
Give our Lord.
20 and 26.
Mafia.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to Juicy J. Thank you for everything, Juice.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Let's run it down as we always do. ServerandVega.com is their pro audio source for all of your pro audio needs, from studio audio, pro audio, Bluetooth audio, motorcycle audio, nautical audio. Suave, where we at?
Yeah. On a boat,
and hopefully not in the straits. Shouts out Henry. Shouts out Gary. Go to ServerandVega.com. Put in BPBC in the coupon area. 10% off your entire purchase. Straight like that.
Put some bass in your face with Sir and Vega audio.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. Oh, what Booker T say? I like it. I like it.
Oh yeah, Booker T, get ready to kick him in the stomach.
Hey, I don't know if we talked about this or not on the show, but in 2K26, if you're wrestling as Booker T pulls that out his bag.
I've seen the reports. So far, the reaction to 2K26 has been so negative that I haven't really put any thought into getting it just yet.
I'm not even sure I'm getting it for free.
Everybody is like beyond upset at the fact that you pay for the Monday Night Wars version and then you still have to go through some paywalls to get certain content.
Yeah. Over 400 superstars and like 3 different paywalls before you get to the additional superstars.
But you done already bought the $129 copy. Like, what? Ain't no way in hell.
No, you probably bought your choice of $129 copy.
So
and we thought the island of relevancy was bad.
So from what I understand, now if something's different, hey, y'all reach out, help correct us on this. The Monday Night Wars version, which is supposed to be the most expensive version with all the pre-order stuff plus the season passes and all of this, is supposed to include everything. And apparently that's not the case. You get what's advertised, but there is still content that is behind a paywall that you have to purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, from everything I've been reading from gamers who are upset about how the process is going.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's not looking good.
At all.
I'm gonna do what I normally do. I'm gonna wait till Christmas when shit's half price.
It was either half price or free during Black Friday for the download. So there's that.
Look, we're PlayStation Plus subscribers, so I mean, at some point you'll be able to just stream the game and deal with what comes with it.
Coming soon. Once this move is complete, coming soon. VitaHermosaCigars.com. Vita Hermosa Cigars is a beautiful life. Smoking cigars is not an alternative to healthy alternative to smoking cigarettes. I will be, and the Vita Hermosa team will be in Charleston, South Carolina, April 30th through May 3rd for the Charleston Smokeout. Come find us. We are VIP sponsors for the Charleston Smokeout. VitaHermosaCigars.com. It's a beautiful life. At Vita Hermosa Cigars on everything. Also, tinyurl.com/BPBC merch. Buy 4, get number 5 on me for free. And put in the code BPBCBBG in the coupon area. 20% off your entire purchase. So I've still got that open for iMop.
we still running the play. Yeah, we iMock. We getting close to the end of iMop.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna keep this running through the summer because I feel like we just giving back to the gang.
We got the summer on lock and the winter too. I'm gonna show you.
We're gonna finish the spring. Now, if y'all get to tripping, then we're gonna take it away. But for right now, we're good to run through the spring, early summer. I'm with it.
And then afterwards, everything on the site is gonna be
for a nominal fee.
Right. Look, we've done some reconfiguration, but the big belt giveaway is still underway. So
we also still have our Black History and BPPC. We still have the Hall of Fame coming up too. So I mean, we life the hell out of us in February in iMock.
Facts.
But we got you. We it's not forgotten. It's not swept under the rug. We're still here with it. This is not a card that's subject to change.
And we're at a point where the Hall of Fame inductee of this year is potentially a show guest. So we're trying to work around that schedule as well, and get things greenlit. So not for lack of trying, but yeah, we decide when Black History Month is. Yeah, bitch.
We are Black History. So
every day.
Well, don't forget it. Don't you ever forget it.
Don't you ever disrespect me. Don't put your eyes on me like that again. You heard?
WrestleMania 42 is in the books.
41 and a half. Tell them why you mad, son.
Not mad. I'm mid.
Tell them why you mid, son. Tell them why you mid.
If you take a 5,
and
then you take a 1, and you get a 6, take 10 divided by 6, you get 1.2 or 2.2.
10 divided by 6?
Yeah.
10
divided by 5 is 2, right?
1.66.
No, 10.
6. No, I'm looking at the calculator. 10 divided by 6. 1.
Oh, and my math is all. I feel like I'm like Jay-Z. I'm the 5. Like I'm the one. Like 5 divided by 4.
Yeah, right now. You've been a very generous pause.
Regardless, so you said 1.666?
And a 7 at the end.
So that tells me that's a D grade.
I'm almost okay. So I actually
first of all, was Saturday at 1? Yes or no?
Yeah, Saturday was a dress rehearsal. Saturday was live stream practice. Saturday was Saturday night's main event, and not Saturday night WrestleMania. For so many reasons, and not very much of it has to do with the actual talent. It's just we were damned from the jump. Like the staging. If you look at the difference between staging on Sunday versus staging on Saturday, Saturday looked like a dress rehearsal. The orange did not pop. Mixing it with the blue didn't look worth a damn. The seats that were given out for people to sit on the stage as a money grab. It was cool. It would be cool as a person going to be able to sit there, but for whatever reason, it didn't look good. Like nothing about Saturday looked good. It didn't look like WrestleMania. It looked like practice.
Not the game.
Yeah. Allen Iverson, AI, no slop. Have you encountered that term online yet? People just say, "Oh, we don't want this AI slop."
Nah, every year it takes a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha to get out here and recycle something that's common and turn it into slang.
Then there's that. You know what? You're right again. I was gonna say you were being too harsh with the grade, but when you say it like that, a possible 5 on each night. Yeah, 5 on Sunday, 1.5 on Saturday.
There you go. So let's start with the Pat McAfee issue. Pat McAfee comes in, trashes pro wrestling, and we are stuck here to believe that the whole time that was Randy Orton's advisor. Stipulation is if Randy loses at WrestleMania, he's done with wrestling completely.
That was just his goodbye. I understand the why. I don't understand the execution of the why. We know who Pat's agent is. We know who Pat works for. We know what network is in bed with WWE. So for those reasons, I get the why. I understand why he's there. It's the execution of his exit and the execution of his participation that has me like, fuck we doing, fam? And nobody can blame The Rock this year. You tried to execute the exact same thing you did last year with Cody and Cena, and you had The Rock to kind of help make it worth a damn. And then Travis Scott did what he did, and not everybody did their due diligence, and then Travis left. But this was the exact same thing with less melanin and more interference.
So McAfee, Travis Scott were infused, and was a net zero, was a net negative. We got Jelly Roll, who I'm still on the fence of. Right now, he's a net neutral. All-time infusion for music right now is Bad Bunny.
He's flirting with overexposure.
No, it doesn't get any better than Bad Bunny with infusion right now in terms of a music into pro wrestling.
He's the standard at this point. Yeah, he is the modern standard for musician involvement. Now, Cameron might pull up and change the whole narrative on that, but for right now, yeah, it's Bad Bunny.
So Cameron with the whole Jey Uso thing, yo, what is Sunday at? I'm so sick of you Saturday. What's Sunday at? Yo,
yeah, stay tuned.
That was hilarious. Number one,
episode
but the slap in the face that was the fact that on Monday Night Raw you had Jim Jones, Dave East, and Fabulous representing their podcast. How?
You know how?
Well, the more the merrier, I suppose. But and you know what I mean by that.
Yeah. You absolutely know how. There's somebody. Yeah. Somebody's calling plays.
To the people in attendance, regardless of what price you paid, I don't offer my apologies or my condolences, especially after seeing that main event tomahawk steak that was heat lamped to death with, as you call it, Suave, chimichurri soup.
Fam, I have never seen chimichurri that when you dip steak in it, literally just comes up with oil.
A 42-ounce tomahawk steak, cooked and sliced, and the inner center was as colorful as the outside of it was, and they called it juicy. Not so sure I'm convinced on that, but for $143, I'm saying
out your rabbit ass mind.
Now, also on the menu was menu catfishing. Did you see that one?
I did. Oh my God. So you can offer premium water and on a picture and put it in a cup without showing you or giving you the bottle? Read between the lines. Ain't no way. So apparently, like, there's an app when you're in your seats. You can order food from in the app and have it delivered to your seats. That's kind of player. However, the pictures used to depict this food that you're ordering is not what you get. Like it's a gourmet hot dog that's like what, $17.50 or something crazy like that. Nathan's, which is, you know, if you gonna glizz it up, that's where top of the line. So
this is a boiled or broiled glizz.
This is 100% boiled,
and has been sitting out of water for at least an hour.
Yeah, heat lamp potentially. They're definitely not on a roller because it has no color.
The color is gone.
It's like, for people who know about Quick Trip, you kind of know what a roller hot dog looks like. This
Quick Trip, 7-Eleven, Racetrack, you name it.
This is like
AM, PM, sheets, and I'll also add in Wawa. So that we cover all parts of the country with that.
Got you. So this is like boiled and then sitting in a steam drawer, just to keep the heat up.
I'm not even so sure it's a steam drawer because even with steam, you would have more color than what you had on that. That hot dog looked depressing in 4K.
Yeah. It looked very hospital foodish. Like what you got was hospital food. What you ordered in the picture was gourmet hot dog, and it had no dressing on it or to it. It was literally just bun and glizzy. And I'm like, for $20, that probably would have caused a complete meltdown.
And I don't know if at Allegiant Stadium they did that because they're wrestling fans, or if that's how they get down. If that's how they did it for wrestling fans, screw you. Never go in there for a wrestling. I'm never going there for an event, to be honest with you.
You got to go test it to see. Because if this is a WrestleMania themed menu, you got to figure there's some conversation from the people doing what they're doing. Because we know what it looks like to buy food at AT&T Stadium.
Man,
we also know what it's like to buy food.
It's always a pre or post commercial segment when you're at AT&T Stadium. The food in the mezzanine,
right? You're gonna pay a pretty penny, but typically you're gonna get something a little better than what you would get on the street.
Even for the pre-draft day stuff, the draft tailgate stuff in the stadium, those plates look better. Any one thing on those plates look better than anything that you got from what we saw at Allegiant Stadium.
Even at the Rangers games, like at the new
even
facility.
dollar hot dog night at the Rangers games.
Even with the buffet ticket at Ranger Stadium, like that's kind of what you're getting. Like there's certain seats at Ranger Stadium that have a buffet attached to it, like all you can eat, but it's burgers, hot dogs, nachos. But it's like entry level nonsense. But you would expect that because you're giving basically unlimited access, and everything has to come out quickly and stay full. So you're dealing with quantity, not quality. That's what it looked like they were getting in the seats they were ordering from the app at Allegiant Stadium. I'll go to a Raider game at some point if I'm back in Vegas anytime during football season. I'll confirm or deny this.
There you go. What else do we have with that? So do we want Roman Punk?
Oh, don't forget the $50 burger either.
I didn't even see the burger.
I'll send it to you when we finish this. It's not $50 at all.
I've yet to see a $50 burger. I've seen some $30 burgers that have been worth it, but Roman Punk
match of the night.
You match of the weekend.
Match of the weekend, early match of the year candidate.
And also, I dare add. Oh, speaking of match of the year candidate, I hate to do this because we're talking about WWE, but Darby Allin versus Tommaso Ciampa on Dynamite for the AEW World Championship.
I got to get caught up and watch that. I've heard
insane.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
And we called that too. Go back and listen to the You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win from Dynasty.
Yeah, man. That amazing work. In fact, I hate that it happened this early, but yeah, another match of the year candidate there. So we'll make sure we put that in the awards. Earmark that. I hate to be a prisoner of the moment because we started that on this show, being prisoners of the moment for different reactions, different things. I've watched this match twice, and it's been a long time since I've gone back and watched a WrestleMania match within 24 to 48 hours after I saw it in real time. That match may have crept into the top 5 of WrestleMania matches. And it's arguable top 3. We're going to argue a different kind of way than what we normally do on this episode. So stay tuned. We got something special planned here. Brock Oba For Paul Heyman to have been the one that, first of all, to produce a match at ringside is crazy. I don't care how long it is. You produce a match at ringside, you shit in a whole different level of cotton there. It's the fabric of our lives.
Heyman never ceases to amaze me about his creativity, about how he's able to orchestrate creativity in professional wrestling while maintaining a level of realism and a level of interest generation.
I'd give $1 to hear what the go position sounded like after that match when Brock was in the middle of that ring.
And everything about that match, again, we've discussed this ad nauseum. I understand the why it went on first, because it was on ESPN2 and you're trying to pull in casuals. But
and familiarity of Brock Lesnar, of course, with ESPN,
all of the
or
above.
UFC for that matter.
Right. And you're trying to crown basically the heir apparent with Obafemi. And I think you accomplished that and did a great job of it. But as we said on You Know Who Ain't Gonna Win, I said this should have been main event of night one. Imagine what it would have been like. You get that exact same match, the exact same ending, the exact same post-match shenanigans, but as the main event of Saturday. That by itself would have brought Saturday up to a 3.
I also think because of how good and how serious Sunday was, if you flop Bianca to Sunday and Danhausen to Saturday, you get a whole different dichotomy and a whole different review of Saturday night.
42 night 2 would have moved into top 10 WrestleManias.
Top 10 WrestleManias, easily.
And it very much made us understand that, let's keep it real, this could have been a one-night WrestleMania, and as a one-night WrestleMania would have flirted with some of the best cards ever, because you would have put Randy and Cody on basically on one night. Walter and Seth would have been on one night and not have to do the breakneck pace that they did.
And it would have been stacked the same way that people are polarized about the AEW pay-per-view card stacking, as far as being a lot and getting a lot like to digest. Right. But the way that the card would have been built would have looked like a UFC fight night, where you start early in the day and you have the lower card matches would have been deserved to be on at the time that they would have been on, and as you got onto the night, you would have started seeing why your ticket price was what it was.
Bring back the pre-show. Like the matches, a couple of matches could have bumped down to the pre-show, been just as good. You'd have been at the WrestleMania stage. I figured the payday is the same.
The Andre on Saturday on the pre-show would have been fire.
True. And we
especially with Royce Keys.
We called the winner.
We called that.
It was either that or Danhausen. Danhausen would have been the comedy and the entertainment if he had won the Andre. But Royce Keys, look,
can you imagine? Can you imagine if Danhausen cursed somebody and got flung into a turnbuckle and turnbuckle snapped, and then they?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They already shot pyro up the back of Kit Wilson, like. You just gotta imagine if, like, okay, you get 3, 4, 5 people entangled towards the ropes, and you do that lift elimination that most guys do. You get the little guy that dumps 3 or 4 just because of leverage while they're all fighting with each other. Imagine Danhausen pulling that off, but just doing the "you are cursed,"
man.
And that's how he wins. The 3 or 4 people fall over at the same time because of a "you are cursed," and that's how he wins.
And he's completely hands off.
Period. I'm just saying, you know, we're going to get all these stupid special effects. I want this because, look, at the end of the day, Danhausen is for the children. We just happen to be entertained too.
Jacob and the
True
Total Lackage.
They put on, though. I'll say that. They put on.
That was not a free match. I'm sorry. That was not a free match. The free world did not deserve that match.
The card
position by 3 1/3 for free world.
You feel me? Clarence parents have a real good marriage.
Yes. I know something about you. He went to Cranbrook.
The match positioning, like, I understand. I get the point of giving away the 6-man tag. Perfect. that's what you put on ESPN, and then you put emphasis on the Usos entrance because that's the biggest fan engagement situation you have. So that's a walking advertisement for the product.
It's essentially a concert.
That's it. It is essentially a concert. So that would have made perfect sense.
And because of the parties involved, aside from it being a concert, it was the best way to set off what was a very bad taste in the mouth and a lot of fans, including those who were in attendance.
If you're gonna have that kind of celebrity inclusion, that's the place you would do it. And I think that was the best use of it over the weekend. Of like people didn't really want to be there or didn't need to be there, but they're included. And I Show Speed, he put the work in. So now he's right under Bad Bunny, or at least top 5 in celebrity inclusion.
Well, but Bad Bunny's debut though was
I mean, Bad Bunny's the standard. We've established that.
Yeah.
For modern celebrities, Bad Bunny he did that.
Yeah, absolutely did that. So that begged the conversation. We were talking about top 5 WrestleMania matches, and we won't go into that.
Nah, because we've done a tournament before.
We've done a tournament, and we've come to a unanimous decision that the number 1 WrestleMania match of all time is HBK versus Taker at 25.
Now, we might be in a position to do the tournament again now that we've got a few more years of entries to add.
And if we do it broken pencil style, there's a possibility that one may get knocked off the pedestal.
It is.
However, between now and next year in Saudi, there's conversation to be had. And the conversation that was started based off of our feelings from Sunday versus Saturday and Roman and Punk versus anything else is what we bring to you today. Who were the MVPs of Mania over the last 42 WrestleManias? And we're not talking about the competitors or like one person who saved WrestleMania each year. We're talking about one match. We have our back against the wall, munitions to the face, pause, and we have to pick one match to say this match is the moneymaker, and we build the ultimate WrestleMania card from all WrestleManias with one match from each WrestleMania. You down to get that knocked out?
I mean, that's why we're here, right? So y'all got to understand when we say MVP, there's varying factors. There's what did it do for the talents involved? What did it do for the show itself? This it's not always going to be match of the night. Sometimes there are other extenuating factors that create an MVP situation.
It could also be match of the night.
Yeah, it's not exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive.
So let's start from the beginning. We'll go from 1 to 42 and run them all down. Even with the multi nights, we'll do one for each night and then go to the combined for that particular year.
That's it.
So WrestleMania 1. This goes without saying. Like the first 5 or 10 would be pretty simple, right? But this one goes without saying. WrestleMania 1, the MVP had to be Good Try Terry, Mr. T, defeating Paul Orton and Roddy Piper, but Paul Orndorff rather, and Roddy Piper.
With Cowboy Bob in the corner.
With Cowboy Bob in the corner with the arm brace on. Muhammad Ali was a special guest enforcer. Pat Patterson was also a special guest referee for this match. Liberace was the ring announcer. Like there were all the things that brought out celebrity happened in this match. And all of the world recognized at least 2 of the faces without you never ever being wrestling fans in this match. So it goes without saying, this is your MVP of the night. We didn't have to go through the rest of the card for this one.
Nah, that one was a concerted effort for that to be, that's what that was. What's that again?
To make the event a spectacle, you had to have a spectacle there, and that did it.
The whole idea of WrestleMania was built around that one match, and it set the standard for celebrity inclusion, generating a buzz, getting as many people as you can involved, like Ali being a timekeeper. Everything about that is what started to assemble the understanding that WrestleMania is literally the biggest show ever. And we're going to continue that going forward.
WrestleMania 2. This is arguably not because of the car, but because, well, the car is part of it, but because of the cluster that it was, arguably one of the worst WrestleManias ever.
Tried too much.
You had 3 locations have 4 matches. And one of those matches in Chicago was a battle royal. So you had Chicago, LA, and Nassau Coliseum in New York, not even Madison Square Garden for year 2. And the main events at each location for Nassau Coliseum, which for the life of me, I don't understand this one. Mr. T with Joe Frazier and Haiti Kidd defeating Roddy Piper with Lou Duva, boxing manager extraordinaire, and Bob Orton in the corner. And it was a boxing match. Meanwhile, in LA, you had Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match for the WWF World Championship. Chicago had the British Bulldogs versus Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake for the WWF Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm.
But also had a battle royal that featured NFL players, Ernie Holmes, Jimbo Colvert,
Bridge,
William Perry,
for those who don't know, yeah.
Former football player Jim the Anvil Neidhart as well. Russ Francis, Harvey Martin of the Dallas Cowboys, Bill Fralick, and a bunch of other wrestlers, including a non-named at the time Haku King Tonga, former World's Strongest Man Ted Arcidi, a fresh off a tag team run with Mike Rotunda, Dan Spivey, who replaced Barry Windham.
It's wild.
Bruno Sammartino and possibly one of his last matches. The Iron Sheik, who never got a rematch for a good Tri-Terry.
It was never designed that way for him.
Jumping Jim Brunzell. I mean, you had some names, and Bret Hart was in this as well. You had some names in this, but like those are your main events across each city. So you basically had 3 WrestleManias in one night.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that even brought people to the dance, unfortunately, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately, because now you have two matches here that brought people to the dance, that brought people that got them interested in the match, or in the night rather. Mr. T versus Piper and Bundy versus Hogan.
I'm willing to argue that neither one of those is the MVP.
I'm absolutely with you. And I dare you, as I highlighted, I dare you to give me your MVP.
I'm going to go with the Battle Royal.
Ooh.
The level of professional athlete inclusion. This is one of the first times you get to see Andre the Giant on pay-per-view. And this is revision, hindsight's 2020, but this is essentially one of the first times you start to see Bret Hart as something more than a tag team wrestler.
Or enhancement talent, for that matter, which he was for years in WWF.
Bing bong. So Hart Foundation is coming into their own, but you're also seeing, okay, Bret Hart could potentially be something on his own. But the level of professional athlete inclusion made it where it was like, it's almost a vindication of professional wrestling, a legitimization, I guess you would say, because there's so much included professional athlete participation, NFL athletes at that. It's just, to me, I feel like that's probably your most valuable match because of the eyes that were put on it in the process. Now, I know what you use to probably get people in the building, but on the actual night of execution, that might have been the one that gave you the most value after the fact.
And considering Andre was known for winning battle royals across the globe, to have NFL stars, present and current, in a battle royal, legitimize his prowess as a powerhouse on top of being 7'4" and over 400 pounds. The only other match that would hold a candle to this, and it's only because it's a favorite, and it's similar to a Danhausen situation, would have been Randy Savage versus George Animal Steel, with Miss Elizabeth involved, because George Animal Steel saved Miss Elizabeth from peril. It's like, you know, the hero that was it, the frog becomes the prince, if you will.
As a kid, I felt like that was probably my favorite.
Yeah, definitely the favorite of the night, but the best match, or the MVP rather, for WrestleMania 2, we can both agree would have been the Battle Royal, in which Andre defeated Bret Hart by eliminating him over the top rope last.
We keep it notes.
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah,
so far so good.
So we'd be able to run him back, right?
Indeed.
All right. Let's see here. WrestleMania 3. This one we go back to just one location, and you pick the largest arena in North America to do this in, the Pontiac Silverdome. Advertised attendance 93,000. As we found out over the years, actual attendance 78,000. Either way, amazing for professional wrestling.
Amazing visual.
The only event, little known fact, the only event to surpass this event in an indoor arena in North America was when Pope John Paul II visited the Trans World Airlines, or TWA Dome in St. Louis, drawing north of 100,000 people. And what a better place to do that in than the center of America, right smack dab in the middle of middle America. So at the Pontiac Silverdome, a stacked card, one of the best matches in WrestleMania history, also on this card. You cannot forget Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage for the IC title. And George Animal Steel is in the corner. So this storyline carries over for a year because Miss Elizabeth is still in the corner with Randy Savage. Randy Savage jumps off a top rope with a ring bell during a match and wrestling challenge, syndicated programming, by the way, and crushes Ricky Steamboat's throat, his voice box, which is the story of this match.
That's your MVP? No.
It's just one of the best matches in WrestleMania history.
I mean, look, for a long time that was considered top WrestleMania match ever, top 3 match ever.
Still in the top 5.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
still in the top 5 right now. And if you've never watched that match, go enjoy those 15 minutes of fame right there.
Everything about what you like about the modern wrestling video game situation with near falls and really working the drama of a situation started with that. Yep. That's work rate. That's American work rate right there. And symbolic to do it in Detroit.
I couldn't believe that they had Butch Reed versus Coco Beware against each other in this on this damn card.
Oh, it's a lot of hidden gems on this card, and there's a lot of matches too.
JYD versus Harley Race.
You get to see Jimmy Jack Funk involved.
Man, Jimmy Jack.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in WrestleMania 3.
Strongman versus Strongman. Hercules Hernandez versus Billy Jack Haynes. Like that was a good one early on, early match too.
That's who I was thinking of, Billy Jack Haynes. My fault.
But by far, without question, the slam heard around the world is the MVP of this one. Andre versus Hogan.
We started doing big business and big money after that. It's the official stamp of approval on what Good Try-Terry Mania became.
Absolutely.
It just printed money after that. That's the MVP.
All right, man. Next up, we got 4. It looks like. Let's see here.
Yep.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta figure this junk out here. Bam, there we go.
Yeah, I got my notes up to date on this too, so we good.
Atlantic City, New Jersey. The first time 4547 enters the chat in pro wrestling, as it's at his hotel and casino. And in this this pay-per-view or this WrestleMania, the largest card to be on pay-per-view to date at this to this point, we had a ton of matches. Why? Because it's a tournament for the WWF Championship after it was held in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan and Andre had a match against each other after first round buys, and they were disqualified. So we were guaranteed a new champion in this one.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the tournament itself is the MVP. There is not one match that stands out above another one, simply because of what all went down, but aside from the tournament. But on this match, you had Haku and Tama, the Islanders. And they also against the British Bulldogs, brother. Bobby Heenan dressed up for this one, and Coco Beware was the sixth for the British Bulldogs. Demolition versus Strike Force, which was Tito Santana and Rick Martel, also known as the Can-Am Connection, for the WWF Tag Team Championships, was on this card. And then Ultimate Warrior with his first WrestleMania match, taking on Hercules Hernandez, another strongman versus strongman match here. Cool match of the night. Jake Roberts versus Rick Rude. This is when Rick Rude decided that he wanted to put Jake Roberts' wife Cheryl on his tights.
the art of storytelling. Shout out to Outcast.
Yeah. Memphis makes one of its second entrance into WrestleMania outside of Randy Savage and Coco Beware, with Oliver Humperdinck seconding Bam Bam Bigelow.
Memphis 10 representative, Orange Mountain.
And probably the only time you saw the one-man gang in WWF in WrestleMania. Shortly thereafter,
I see what you're doing. Shortly
thereafter, he became Akeem the African Dream.
Appropriation at the highest level.
Yeah, but to me, I'd say the tournament was the MVP. What say you?
Close enough. I was just gonna say the tournament final, just because of the number of superstars you made out of that. Good Try Terry's on his way to go make movies. Randy Savage gets his cosign, becomes an official main event player. I think on the heels of what he did the previous year. You got the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, which of course this is culminating like the biggest story they've ever told in terms of this might be Good Try Terry's magnum opus in WWF as far as storytelling. I don't think they ever told a better story than what they did between 3 and 5. 3 and 5 gave you the next 30.
I'll stop you when you start lying.
Like the amount of storytelling they did between Good Try Terry's WrestleMania 3 and 5 is literally that's the folklore. If it had ended right then, it would still be legendary.
If you like battle royals, this one had one to start to show off. And again, this is before the Royal Rumble became a thing.
Right, because the Royal Rumble's not a thing till 88. And you see who the last person is in the actual in the actual battle royal? No,
I don't.
So the battle royal was won by Bad News Brown.
That's right.
You know who we eliminated last? This is a fun fact.
I'm gonna guess Adrian Adonis.
Bret Hart.
Oh, Canada versus Canada.
Because this is the highlight where Bret Hart ends up destroying the trophy afterwards, because Bad News Brown essentially, slimed him.
So the story to get to this tournament was the whole main event situation where we had the twin referees, the Hebner brothers, get paid off in the effort to have Andre defeat Hogan on Friday night, and then turn around
and hand it off
and take money from DiBiase because he's the $1 Million Man to become WWF champion, which we've argued on this show as well. That after that happened, DiBiase had a house show where he had the belt and defended the belt successfully, which made him the WWF champion, if only for one defense.
Look, I mean, the history says what it says, you know.
And ergo, Randy Savage versus DiBiase in the finals, with Randy Savage winning the championship in the finals.
I'm cool with you saying the tournament itself, because you know there were a lot of different subplots, and yeah, I would have said, me personally would have said the final. I'm cool with doing the whole tournament.
Yeah, the tournament itself. I mean, because with DiBiase being in the final, it definitely gives the final some credence to being the MVP. I'm just not looking. I'm gonna tell you what ruined it for me: the fact that we did the $1 Million Man rewrite.
Yeah, we reimagined what his career could have been if we had done, you know, what we should have done.
And it's very possible this tournament doesn't happen. And if it does happen, he wins the tournament.
Right. Like, and that's pretty much what we called. Like, if he had won the tournament, you would have spent the next year building to Savage DiBiase at 5. At least I think. But again, Good Try Terry left to go do something. And when he was over there, realized, this ain't, I got the itch. I got to be over here because I can't lose my for show money chasing hoe money.
There it is. This might have to be a 2-part show here, Suave, because we could go in. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So we'll go to 21 today, and then we'll come back next week with 22 to 42. That work?
Hey, I'm with it. You think we can make it to 21? Run the play. Let's go.
All right. WrestleMania 5.
Yep. I mean, go without saying.
Also in Atlantic City. We don't even have to have any discussions. The card is fire. You have everything from your kid stuff to your diehard stuff for your vets.
Yep.
Great tag team action as you have on the national and international scale. You finally see Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson together. Jake and Andre with Big John Studd of all people as a special guest referee. But when it's all said and done,
super kid friendly.
There are 2 big stories that come out of this. One is the emergence of the Ultimate Warrior as a major player as he defeated Rick Rude for the Intercontinental Championship. But the Mega Powers imploded, and this is your MVP.
Gotta be
for the love of Miss Elizabeth. And for the WWF Championship, Good Try Terry versus Randy Savage.
Yeah, production-wise, top 5 story ever told by WWE. The execution was flawless. Everything about what Randy put his Hall of Fame stamp on his career between 3 and 5. So, like, it's crazy how much really took place in those first 5 or 6 WrestleManias that stamped some Hall of Famers. Like, it's a short window.
It's very hard for Randy Savage to go stock up after Savage. After Steamboat. But he accomplished it.
He leveled up just about every year from 3 to 7. I feel like he might have taken a little bit of a break at 6, only because the match they had him in didn't have a lot of time to make drama, and Dusty Rhodes had been kind of converted into WWE.
Fodder.
Yeah, fodder. WWE's fan-friendly superhero. You know,
the same thing that
he's the neighbor that barbecues for the Super Bowl and invites everybody over.
The same thing that happened to Dory Funk and Harley Race happened to Dusty Rhodes in WWF.
Yeah, everybody's not meant for New York in the sense of how it's going to be presented, especially if you made your name in a more serious fashion elsewhere.
WrestleMania 6 in Skydome, Toronto. I mean, you put 2 belts on the line, winner take all. I mean, what else can you do?
Yeah, I'm looking through the card. Like, yeah. I just scrolled past one that just made my stomach turn. I mean, it's the Roddy Piper half and half. Yeah,
yeah.
That did not age well.
You may not ever see that match again.
Luckily, I got a DVD, so I'll see it whenever I get ready. But yeah, that didn't age well.
Canada heavy on this card. Earthquake, Rick Martel, Roddy Piper, Bad News Brown, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart. Keep going. Dino Bravo, Canadian Strongman.
Demolition, 3-time tag team champions.
Well, with the exception of Darso, because Darso's from Minnesota.
I'm looking at matches that stood out on the card.
I'm just talking about Canadians.
Oh yeah,
in Canada.
I mean, it makes sense though. Like it does.
Yeah, but Warrior versus Good Try Terry, that's your one.
Again, Good Try Terry was about to take a break, try to do some movies. He was trying to recreate the after effects of Rocky 3, which he never captured again in Hollywood.
And it's hard to believe when you look back on Rocky 3, man, that took place during the AWA era.
Yes. Thunder Lips in the flesh, baby.
1982. So the movie was still circulating when Hogan came back to WWF to defeat the Iron Sheik.
And he's not quite flirting with overexposure yet, just because at that point you got to go to the movies to see it several times.
And not everybody had access to ESPN to see the AWA on a national scale.
Then Blockbuster is like formative years still, or have they even launched yet?
I don't know if Blockbuster was to the scale that it was. You had your local mom pops more than anything else, and they were getting it late.
You see what I'm saying? So like, it's hard to suffer from overexposure in a situation where it's hard to get the content.
As we fast forward to WrestleMania 7, back to the LA Sports Arena, one of the homes of WrestleMania 2. I mean, you're in the middle of, we're in Kuwait. We've invaded Kuwait. We have America's hero, America's sweetheart from G.I. Joe, Sergeant Slaughter, who is the WWF champion with a returning Hulk Hogan, with at the time the second largest card on pay-per-view. On this one here, 15 matches, including the dark match.
Facts. The Coliseum home video dark matches.
And there is nothing bigger than America's darling versus the American turncoat.
I'm willing to argue.
Oh,
yeah. The main event was not it. Like, that was not the MVP. Strictly because, I mean, Slaughter turning, it's a big deal, and there's a lot that goes with it, but the amount of backlash that came from it took away from what WrestleMania's main event could have been, and actually the backlash made it to where we went from the LA Coliseum to indoors.
Well, Slaughter had to save his life in real life.
Right.
So
right. You couldn't have an open air situation like that with something that touchy and sensitive at the time. So I get it. And then
with children, especially school-age children too. Yeesh.
And then the ticket sales itself just didn't warrant staying in the LA Coliseum. You had to switch it up. My MVP on this, and it's really two of them, and you help me decide which one it is. I'll go with the lesser on the first one. The first potential MVP, The Undertaker versus Jimmy Snuka. Why? Because it starts the streak. That's my only reasoning for that potentially as an MVP. Here's my other one.
5, 6, and 7 gave you your next 30 years. I'm smelling you. Keep going.
So my other one is the Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage in a career versus career match. The match itself is the Ultimate Warrior's best performance ever. Doesn't matter if it's WrestleMania or anywhere else. That is his best performance ever because of Randy Savage. It's Savage's first exit, doing the career angle. The post-match did more for WrestleMania's reputation with mainstream America than anything else on that show.
Keep going.
Macho Man Randy Savage and Elizabeth reuniting and the soap opera aspect of it did more to push WWF into a mainstream light than maybe anything else, certainly anything else on this card. But their relationship became the basis for what storytelling and soap opera aspect became in professional wrestling, which is what separates WWF from everybody else. The pageantry, the soap opera aspect, the personal issue itself. So it gave you the blueprint. Yeah, first five gave you the next 30. So those are my 2 MVPs. You tell me which one.
Oof. So much happened to Savage for the better behind him being excommunicated from the WWF. The streak starting is monumental, regardless of how Snuka was on the way out. First of all, we should have never seen Snuka again on the WrestleMania, but here he is.
Different conversation.
Well, I mean, still, he somehow, some way, he made it back.
I'm with you. I'm with you. We've all seen Dark Side of the Ring.
The long-term money came from Taker, but because of the money that came from Savage's, because it wasn't even an immediate exit.
You cooked for the next year based on Savage and Elizabeth. Because remember, from that comes the wedding at SummerSlam, the Undertaker and Jake Roberts doing what they did at the wedding reception, which leads to Tuesday in Texas, and then leads to Ric Flair involving Elizabeth in his business.
There you go. You said Elizabeth too many times. Warrior Savage with honorable mention to the Undertaker.
I was feeling your explanation though when you said WrestleMania. I mean, when you said the next 20 WrestleManias off of the Undertaker, like that becomes the attraction of WrestleMania for a long time.
Yeah,
and Savage doesn't have many more WrestleManias after this one. It's like 3 more.
But what he helped do for the industry, aside from WWF, with what he did in WCW, piggybacking off of Hogan's success and the pocketbook of Ted Turner. Like,
you think do
you understand that we have gimmick tables today because of Randy Savage?
That's crazy.
We have gimmick tables in WrestleMania today because of Randy Savage at that time, because he essentially stole Hogan's colors with Slim Jim.
So do you think there's anything he did in WCW that came close to the level of work he did in WWF? Like in terms of, value to the product.
No. He was a far better entertainer in WCW than he was in WWF. And not to say that he wasn't entertaining in WWF, is that he let reality bleed over into his actions in WWF.
I just don't think he did anything that was as culturally important as he did in WWF.
He got money and helped other people get money because he got money.
At the end of the day, getting money is what we doing business for. But
bottom line, he got money.
He definitely did, and he put Diamond Dallas Page on the map. He had quality in terms of the in-ring, but when I say like cultural impact, I think he didn't do anything in WCW that trumped what he did in WWF.
No, his WWF career is in space. I mean, again, even if this match was Warrior's best match, it definitely wasn't Savage's best match, because you can go back to WrestleMania 3 again.
3 through 9, that's Hall of Fame right there. That's the Hall of Fame run. 5-6 year window. That's it.
All right, so we'll go to WrestleMania 8. Just like that, you forget about Sergeant Slaughter.
So what did we settle on? We settled on Savage?
Yeah, Savage for sure.
Bet.
Yeah. Let's see. WrestleMania 8 took place in where was it at? Indianapolis, Hoosier Dome. I had to think about that one for a second because that was the first time WrestleMania had been in Indianapolis, and they're trying to get another one now for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
however,
I was taking notes, so I'd have been quicker on the draw with that. My fault.
here we go. This one's kind of rough because you had Sid in the main event with Good Try Terry,
and
with virtually no story.
No, there was some story to it. So in 91, this is where the whole steroid controversy is doing the thing. This is where Hogan goes on Arsenio Hall and lies without needing to about using steroids. And this is where America starts to fall out of love with Hulk Hogan in real life. And you can tell in the crowds. So this is Ric Flair has come over to WWF, so you have everybody wants to see that dream match. But
Flair and Savage already on this card.
But Hogan is losing. He's losing favor with the fans. You also have Sid Justice, aka Sid Vicious, involved. They're starting to like a more, I don't want to call it realistic, but you're starting to see the seeds of we don't need the good guy to win every time, and we would also like our heroes to have a little bit more attitude. Sid Justice eliminates Hogan. The crowd actually pops for it. They don't feel like Hogan he's not sympathetic anymore. So when bad things happen to him, they don't care. They actually cheer.
Yeah.
So that ends up getting us to where Justice, air quotes, turns on Hogan. They keep trying to make him a heel. It's not working in this scenario. And then Hogan he's fatigued. The audience has Good Try Terry fatigue. So he has to go away again, which is becoming a recurring theme with him. Like every year he got to take some time off so he doesn't overexpose or, burn his bread. But
on the flip side, though,
yeah,
you had the battle for religion and religious emotions on this card. You have the similarly devilish Undertaker, now with Paul Bearer, taking on a recently saved Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, I don't know if it was made public at this time that like it was at In Your House and during the tournament with Steve Austin, but Undertaker at this point is starting to become a household name and is feared.
Case in point, so how we were describing what was going on with Good Try Terry, the Undertaker's a face now, basically. The Grim Reaper is a face.
The Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper has become a face. And a guy walking around with a snake, entertaining people, now he's got a cobra, but now he has become, public enemy number one because he done put hands on Elizabeth again. You see how this is going? Like soap opera.
Yeah. So this is before the actual save Jake Roberts. Oh, that's right.
Save Jake Roberts is like
96.
Like 4 years later.
It's 96. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is
we even had that brief stint in WCW with Jake Roberts after this.
Yeah. This is what caused it. So this is when Watts promised Jake Roberts the contract. Well, no, Watts didn't. Jake had gotten a deal guaranteed for WCW, so he was finishing up in WWF. By the time he got to WCW, Watts was in power and said he wasn't going to honor it. So it took Jake from having a booker role and an in-ring role to you're just talent.
You're just talent.
And it changed the money. It changed his money completely because WCW was, even though I love Southern-based wrestling, period. WCW in the early 90s is my wheelhouse, but money-wise, they wasn't getting to it like that.
It was 2,000 people.
It was a rough time. It was a rough time money-wise. Sting was really the franchise because he was out here carrying a company damn near by himself.
And they were recording in the soundstage. What was it? Universal Studios at the time?
No, in Atlanta. What is sound?
Center Stage. No, Center Stage was this is not in 92, 93?
Yeah, this is the WCW Saturday Night era.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes.
We're not quite at rotating ring yet, but definitely they're in Center Stage in Atlanta.
I hated that rotating ring.
We weren't there yet though. This is Sting beating Luger, working his way to end up with Vader.
Yep.
Yeah, this is neon color Sting. This is Surfer Sting at his best. This is Dangerous Alliance time.
So who we got for the MVP of 7?
So I give you a couple options.
Or actually, this is 8. I'm sorry, 8.
So you just mentioned Undertaker, Jake Roberts. This is turning Undertaker into a household name. This is continuing the streak. So there's one option. The other option, you got Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, because this is supposedly at the time this was going to be Roddy Piper's swan song. Also, this is crowning Bret Hart as a singles competitor with real upward mobility, like real
little known fact. Cousins, go ahead.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Real top side value on Bret Hart. Like we're molding him to be that guy. So, and again, Bret Hart paid off for you for the next
5-6 years.
Right. The Undertaker gave you the next 10
plus.
10 plus. And again, your other option for an MVP in my eyes is Savage Flair. 1, because it had never happened before. 2, because it's more soap opera. You pulled in the casual and you pulled in more of the female fan based on the fact that there was a soap opera story you could tell, and that made the match matter to them.
For me, that's where I'm at. I'm with Savage and Flair, just because, and it was for you pulled in WCW fans, longtime NWA and Georgia Championship Wrestling fans to watch Flair on WWF television, because every time you saw him on WWF television, it was unbelievable. Even though, well, we'll get to that the next one here in a second. But even though you had seen him already, like it was still unbelievable that you got Flair on WWF television.
I'm cool with going Flair versus Savage because it serves so many masters. The wrestling purists and the people that love dream matches got what they needed. The casual fan who wanted something to sink their teeth into story-wise got what they needed. The lady contingent of professional wrestling fans got what they needed because there was soap opera aspect to it. Pomp, circumstance, hey, we own. And we got our first pair of Air Jordans on WrestleMania from Mr. Perfect.
Hey. There we go. I don't know. I can switch those around. You
got to label them, shout it.
Yeah. Well, they are. I just can't see it because it's tilted down.
Indeed.
All right. WrestleMania Niner. WrestleMania Niner takes place at Caesar's Palace. Oh boy.
Vegas won.
So much shit with this one.
Literally.
Baggage with this one.
Literally.
The main event was advertised as Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, who Yokozuna was your champion. You also had Giant versus Giant, Taker versus Giant Gonzalez. The supposed heir apparent to Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger also on this card.
I'm with you. Looking at this card and the way it ended, it's hard to pick an MVP.
Because the main event wasn't the main event. The main event lasted maybe 30 seconds.
Technically. Now, this is
Bret Hart received some ceremonial Saturday ceremonial salt in the face.
Ceremonial salt, my boy.
Courtesy of Mr. Fuji. Leading to Yokozuna to win via roll-up. Hogan shows up like, I ain't having that. Bret Hart says, go get him for me. Goes in, hits him, leg drops him, gets a 1, 2, 3, and gets the belt. Match was never signed. Match wasn't even on the card. But Yokozuna walks out of WrestleMania as the champion and then gets the belt stolen from him in a match that wasn't even booked. And nobody really cared for Hogan.
No, this is another situation where he left from audience fatigue, came back because he wanted to be back in the top spot, and manipulated his way, convinced Vince that this was the move, and he stepped on two people at once. Now, Bret's vocal, and he's still here to be vocal about it. But you stepped on Bret Hart being basically the leader of the new generation, which they ended up calling that era the new generation. And then you stepped on the biggest, literally and figuratively, the biggest heel you had available.
You know what's crazy about this? You know my most memorable moment about WrestleMania 9?
What's that?
Jim Ross on commentary and Bobby Heenan riding backwards on the camel.
Yeah, Ross, Heenan, and Savage on commentary is an underrated trio. If you watch that on Party Favors, you'll have a good time.
I will also say this. There's a tag team match on here that has currently powered WrestleMania from this year, possibly for the next 10 or more.
You might have just changed my mind on MVP with what you just said.
This is where I was going with this. This is definitely my MVP for that reason.
Do you know
the debut? I'm sorry.
No, I was bullshitting.
This is the debut in WWF and WrestleMania of, at the time, the heir apparents to the tag team of the world, tag team of the generation.
My favorite
tag team of the 90s. Rick and Scott Steiner taking on what we knew throughout circles as the SST, the Samoan SWAT team.
Gang.
Big Sam and Fatu. You know him now as Rikishi.
Mm-hmm.
And they were managed by numerous people. This incarnation was managed by
Alpha.
Wild Samoan Alpha. This is your bloodline here.
Rotisserie chicken at ringside eating Alpha.
And it's being billed as live. Why? Because we don't have HD.
Yeah.
And it's no secret, or it's no mystery why this is one of our favorites. It was one of the longest matches of the night. Wasn't the longest, but one of the longest matches of the night. Yep. And Hogan actually was in a tag match in this, and so it didn't even matter because you forgot about that.
And there's a reason he's in a tag match too, but you can watch the documentary and figure that part out.
Yeah.
This match you're speaking of was also included in the showcase of WWE 2K25 when telling the story. So, you know what?
There's Impact for you.
I'm gonna go with you there, because there's kids that come out of the people that are in this match that are gonna be contributing to WWE for the next 10 years, like you said.
The father and uncle of Braun Breaker, the father of the Usos.
Yep.
Like,
talk. I only had one other option as MVP, and I'm ready to abandon that. It would have been Shawn Michaels and Tatanka, only because this is essentially Shawn Michaels'
coming out moment.
It's gearing towards it. His real breakout moment was the next year, but at this point, he opened the show and he put on a performance that said, okay, this experiment's gonna work.
Well, that's a great segue because WrestleMania 10 takes place.
There you go.
Madison Square Garden. We back to New York. And who better than the same person that you talked about just to end up WrestleMania 9, Shawn Michaels, to carry the load for WrestleMania 10. IC title versus IC title. And mind you, the championship was on the line. Bret Hart versus Yokozuna in this match too. In this card.
The finish. It's the finish. It's the finish of it's the finish of the story, because earlier in the night, for whatever reason, you've got this you got the double finish in the Royal Rumble, and you have 2 title matches in the same night. Everybody wrestles twice, but you have 2 actual title matches. It's weird. It's weird, but I like it, but definitely not an MVP thing. Like the New York crowd was really pissed off about Luger not, cashing in basically on all the hype.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to move past good try Terry, and this is the first WrestleMania he's not a part of, because now he's in Orlando. It is it's a lot, but the most valuable is also match of the night in this situation.
Yeah, Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels for the undisputed WWF Intercontinental Championship. No reason for this match to be or to not be the main event when it's the first ladder match we've had on pay-per-view in North America.
Razor and Shawn danced with a ladder and made it move like a human.
One of the greatest ever. And I keep hearing that they had a ladder match on the house show run leading up to WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania, if you will, that was better than this one.
Probably, because you gotta work out the kinks and figure out what you're gonna do on the bigger stage. And that match of the night, that's an arguable point, because you also have Owen Hart and Bret Hart in the opener.
And that was fire. That was Owen Hart's coming out moment.
Fire.
Some would argue that match could be top 5. I got to sit on that one, and if it is, that's probably number 5. But I got to sit on that one. I have to go back and dissect. WrestleMania 11. This one's kind of special. Hartford, Connecticut. The main event in this one, no one really saw it coming to be like, if you look at hindsight and say this is going to be the match of the night, you'd be sadly mistaken until you actually see it and be like, what the hell did I just witness? Right. The first time you have a celebrity in the main event at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, because Mr. T, but a celebrity football player in the main event at WrestleMania.
There you go.
Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
In a singles match at that.
And Lawrence Taylor won his only WWF match against Bam Bam Bigelow. Bob Backlund, who was already batshit crazy by this point.
Facts.
Having a third career at this point with Bret Hart.
Right.
Diesel versus Shawn Michaels. Shawn had Psycho Sid and Jenny McCarthy at ringside for this one, and that easily could have been the main event.
It was supposed to be Pamela Anderson.
Yep. Taker streak continues as you have King Kong Bundy on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Taker said, "Thank you for coming, but I'm gonna holler at you." But Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow, to me, by far,
the amount of coverage, because you had maybe 2 handfuls of NFL players involved, including Steve Mongo McMichael, Refrigerator Perry again. So Fridge been in a whole lot of WrestleManias. But ESPN covered this. Lawrence Taylor, exceeded expectations, all things considered. Bam Bam carried the situation as best as you possibly could. Because 11 was kind of rough. Your only other option would have been HBK and Diesel, and it's more so because Shawn Michaels put on, a top tier performance. This is the beginning of his Mr. WrestleMania situation. Like now, you stacking them on top of each other at this point.
There are some gems in here. Razor Ramon taking on Jeff Jarrett, where you actually see the emergence of personality from Brian James, aka Jesse James, aka Jesse James Armstrong, aka Brian Armstrong, aka the Road Dogg, as he becomes.
Yes, there you go.
what we 1-2-3 Kids is at the corner of Razor Ramon, which 1-2-3 Kid was Lightning Kid in Global, was Lightning Kid in WWF until he beat Razor Ramon on Monday Night Raw and became the 1-2-3 Kid.
Facts.
Yeah, your build for the next 5 years comes from characters in this one. As we move on to WrestleMania 12, from the pond in Arrowhead, Arrowhead Pond rather, in Anaheim, California, the home of the Anaheim, was it the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks?
Probably at the time, the Anaheim Ducks.
What
did we call being called Mighty Ducks at that point?
I believe at that time they were called the Mighty Ducks because it was adjacent to the Disney property out there, Disneyland.
Right, and that's why I was like, I thought the Disney IP is what took Mighty off the front.
There you go. Which is funny because they actually used a Disney licensed logo for the Ducks, and also
it's a weird dichotomy.
Yeah, it was super weird. Like it was a lesson in licensing.
Facts.
If nothing else, but
I got a real curveball for you on MVP. Go ahead.
For what, 12 or for 11?
12. Now we know what 11 is. It's LT and Bam Bam.
Yeah. So 12 is interesting because on the free for all, which is the pre-show at the time, to add fuel to the Monday Night War fire, which had started with WCW because of Monday Nitro, Raw had been in full swing for a few years by now.
Yep.
You actually had a match with the Nacho Man versus the Huckster.
Shooting slugs at a high level.
Billionaire Ted was a special guest referee. This is also the last WrestleMania for Diesel. The streak continues because actually Undertaker beat was Diesel.
Factual.
You have an incoming Goldust who have just left WCW.
The Natural.
And
carrying the hottest gimmick at the time just because
polarizing. It was
polarizing as AF.
This was an era where it was pretty acceptable to let homosexual tendencies to be labeled as the F word that you can't say anymore.
Which you've always, British cigarette. You've had this kind of sprinkled out because like you had Adrian Adonis and that was the whole thing in WrestleMania 3. You've always kind of had those characters. This one pushed the line a lot.
And no one realized that the person in his corner was actually his wife. The former Alexandra York in WCW, who was now
the York Foundation. What you know about it?
And Terrence Taylor, Richard Morton. Come on, man.
Oh, you broke up the Rock and Roll Express. You know good such and such. Yeah. And this match spoofed the OJ police chase or the police tour of LA.
Oh boy. This was a coming out party for Stone Cold. I think it was the first appearance for Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Ringmaster. But you also have Shawn Michaels versus his quote unquote coach Jose Lothario. Work the yap, pop out, and Bret Hart in a 60-minute Iron Man match. That was determined in sudden death overtime. This match went over an hour.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who have mixed feelings about this match. I think this is one of the best in WrestleMania history. Don't know if it's the MVP though.
I'm looking here, man.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you who the MVP is in my eyes. But go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go run it.
I'm choosing The Undertaker and Diesel for this reason. Obviously, you know what you know about the streak, but Diesel / Kevin Nash has told you at numerous times, all Vince had to do to keep him there was offer $1 more. Like literally, give me $1 more, match this, I won't go anywhere. if Vince decides to acquiesce and match the contracts for Razor and Diesel, they don't leave. If they don't leave, I don't know. You may still have The Undertaker continue the streak because the streak in public eyes is not a thing yet. So you could have altered the streak if you keep Diesel. Here's what doesn't change. If Vince matches those contracts to retain those two, you don't get favored nation contracts. You don't get guaranteed money. You don't get negotiating points for a lighter schedule. It would literally be Hogan getting that favored nations and creative control situation and nobody else. It would still be somewhat of a monopoly from a promoter standpoint. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash leaving WWF for WCW at the time is the most important move for wrestler payoffs in the history of the business.
No, that's number one. Number two, this was the first time a wrestling match had headlined WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, and the possibly worst time for WWF because this is right after the steroid trial.
Yeah, this is also another rough patch for WWF because there's money issues, there's a lot happening.
Low attendance.
All of the above. Like there's a lot going on. The new generation had some rough patches to it. And you don't have the money to cover some of the talent you want to keep. So you're competing with Bischoff, who's out here just tricking with Ted's checkbook. So I mean, you see what I'm saying? If Vince had just promised to match two contracts, the entire landscape of wrestling changes for potentially forever. So for me, that's the MVP.
Okay, I'm with it. Yeah, that's enough reason for me because you know me, follow the money, right? So I'd be remiss if I said anything other than this match, and I'd be going back on my word for what I said about Savage earlier.
And there we are.
WrestleMania 13 takes place from one of the most favorite arenas for WWF, not just for wrestling, but for fans' sake. One of the loudest arenas in the country to this day. Also, one of the homes of WrestleMania 2. The Road Is My Horizon in Chicago, Illinois, or suburban Chicago, near the airport, near O'Hare Airport at that. Also featuring a free-for-all. This is becoming a trend to have pre-shows on the match, on the card. As we move into the card, we have a defective Too Cold Scorpio from WCW who had a quick stay over in ECW and then came over to WWF as Flash Funk. Our first look at Flash Funk. Also one of our first, actually not one of our first, definitely our first pay-per-view look at Badass Billy Gunn before he was badass. Rocky Maivia is on this card, taking on, which we didn't realize at the time, his cousin under a different moniker, the Sultan.
It's 3/4 family reunion in this match.
Along with the Iron Sheik and Bob Backlund in the corner of the Sultan.
And then Rocky Johnson getting involved in the post-match.
Boy.
It's very much family.
You're touching nostalgia there. Triple H comes out here with China. We also have a former tag team partners here in the main event for the WWF Championship, which ended by pinfall, but it was a no DQ match. But the streak continues: Undertaker versus Psycho Sid, and they were not a tag team in WWF, by the way. So get that out your head. I'm trying to think here. I'm looking at this match. Ooh, never mind. I know the MVP of this one.
Who you got?
Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
There's my answer.
The money was got to behind this match.
The
double submission by Bret Hart
Yep.
And this was the Crimson Mask where Steve Austin did not quit.
We sold merch off this forever. The double turn, it kicks off Bret Hart's best heel run ever. You got Ken Shamrock involvement, so now you're further legitimizing the product because you have a former UFC champion involved. So he started his wrestling career.
I'm about to say Canada becomes a player as a crowd behind this.
We know what Austin went on to become based on, and this was the launch. Like the real launch of like getting money, not just be a great character on television. Like this was, we can get money with this.
We can get this bread, fam. It's over for you hoes.
This is pay windows type situation going on.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about anything else on this one.
Skip, we done. That's it. That's it, bro.
That's it. That's all. So long. No more, no less. All right, WrestleMania 14. This one, the card is amazing. The build on Monday night for this one is as amazing as the card. To me, there's only one MVP. And you could argue any of these matches. Mm-hmm. Triple H versus Owen Hart for the European Championship. Mark Mero and Sable versus the artist formerly known as Goldust and Luna Vachon in a mixed tag. The Rock versus Ken Shamrock, and the Rock is part of the Nation of Domination for the IC title. And if the Rock had been disqualified, he would have lost the title. Mm-hmm. You couldn't have paid me to believe that the Rock wasn't going to get DQ with the NOD at ringside. Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack taking on the New Age Outlaws. This is the gasoline on the fire that became DX. Kane versus The Undertaker, brother versus brother. But it gets no bigger. It gets no bigger than Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels with Mike Tyson at ringside. I'm sorry, it's a special guest referee, rather. That's my MVP.
I'm with you. This match essentially took WWE even further mainstream in another era. Like now you've got some footing. You've been getting your ass kicked by WCW for I don't know how many weeks at that point. This was you fighting back.
And what a lot of people did not realize was Mike Tyson was scheduled to perform with WWF on the main event, that Friday main event joint on NBC with the DiBiase angle back in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Because he was unceremoniously knocked out by James Buster Douglas following the death of Cus D'Amato in Japan.
Yep.
5 days prior to, Mike Tyson was scrapped in favor of James Buster Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Who did not win his ensuing defense. However,
he wasn't here for a long time. It was a good time.
But this is your actual WWF and pro wrestling debut for one Iron Mike Tyson.
I mean, come on. You broke ESPN, and Tyson's just coming back from his situation.
He's back home from he did fair time.
Yeah, what I'm saying. He's back home. He's back active. We back getting to the money. He is viewed at that time as the most dangerous man in the world.
The world's most dangerous man was Ken Shamrock, but the baddest man on the planet was Mike Tyson. Make it make sense.
Tyson come again. Yeah, come on. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about on that one.
Yeah. WrestleMania 15. We are in Pennsylvania for the first time in Philadelphia. This one is stepping in the backyard of ECW on purpose. ECW had a very storied history by this point, and I'm looking at this card here.
There's the only one choice here.
There's only there's two people from ECW era that's on this card, believe it or not, in Philadelphia, slap in the face. But the money was got here. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock First time at Mania. First of a few times at Mania. I guess I'm done talking.
Pretty much. I was counting ECW people. I actually got 3.
I got Al Snow. I got Blue Meanie. I guess we can count Mankind.
Al Snow, Blue Meanie, Mankind, Austin.
Oh, I forgot about Austin that fast.
Yep.
Did he even wrestle? Did he ever wrestle in ECW?
Yep.
How many times? It had to be less than a handful.
I don't know the exact number, but I do know yes, because that's how Mikey Whipwreck ended up becoming ECW World Heavyweight Champion.
Let's see here. It's WrestleMania 16.
Yeah, the money was absolutely gotten to with
this was not called WrestleMania 16. This was called WrestleMania 2000.
Everything about the year 2000 wrestling wise is super awkward.
Only thing missing from this pay-per-view was Chris Champion.
Yo, everybody chill.
Oh boy, New Breed, stand up. This was also back at Anaheim at the Pond. Main event for this one. Let's take a look at here. Triple H versus The Rock. And this is corporate Triple H because he was with Stephanie and The Rock was, I'm sorry, the corporate Rock brother, because Triple H was with Stephanie and The Rock was with Mr. McMahon, Mick Foley, Linda McMahon, and Big Show. Oh, that's a fatal 4-way.
Yeah, Yeah, this is the first real showcase of the McMahon family drama as an on-screen storyline that culminated in the situation, and was mostly because this is where Austin is out with neck surgery, so you had to. I'm certain you probably would have done Austin Rock 3 here, or at worst Austin Rock Triple H.
Right.
And this is where, Foley had just retired by losing at No Way Out in the Hell in a Cell, but you end up bringing him back kind of as like a farewell and a homage type situation. This is one of those I don't go back and watch often. And I probably should, just to take stock of what it is or what it isn't.
The people in this card, like, this is the first time you get a ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championships with Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardys. You also have Hardcore versus Crash.
Yep.
Too Cool versus the Radicals, which also had China and China was in this match, but China was wrestling men, and Perry Saturn was on the side of the Radicals, which that's why I was laughing, because I'm thinking, was he in the dress yet? No, he wasn't quite in the dress yet. He's just fresh off a WCW run.
Head cheese.
He who shall remain nameless versus Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle. And
a hell of a unique match, because you're doing 2 out of 3 falls, but each fall
2 belts. So it's 2 falls. One fall. Each fall was for a belt.
Right.
So it was basically the first 2 people to win their matches won a belt, so, and that one person won 2 belts.
Could have,
but that didn't happen.
Yeah, that might have been the move had you really thought it through. But I get it.
And the fact that Rikishi was being managed by Paul Bearer in this match was crazy, because he was alongside Kane, of course, against DX. Oh, yeah. So there's that.
Which one's most valuable? Is the McMahon family drama more valuable than the ladder match? Only because Only because of what happens the next year.
Absolutely. So if we're stopping the conversation now, we're in all at the ladder match. But we're now at X7, and here we have an argument. One of the biggest things to never happen, which we've talked about on this show before, one of the biggest stories to never happen would have been the double turn of Austin, or the double cross of Austin on Mr. McMahon. Austin versus Rock for the WWF Championship in the no DQ match.
So for 16, you're taking a 4-way.
16, I'm taking the Fatal 4-Way. Yes, I'm definitely doing that. I can't do it for 17. Knowing what we got in 16 and how they leveled up for 17, there's absolutely no way I could give Austin Rock the MVP, simply because what we know should have happened didn't happen, and that could have also changed the trajectory of pro wrestling forever after this point.
I'm with you.
The triple threat TLC match set the table for all tag team matches to come. In fact, the tag team division became secondary after this match for years to come.
Video game wrestling
was that?
Video game wrestling became a thing here.
This is where anybody that you look at now that does crash test shit gets it from. Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudleys, Darby Allin, John Moxley. Give me some.
Just crash test dummies.
Hangnail Adam Page.
I mean, the entire modern era, if we're going that route, like everybody wrestling in 2024 took something from this TLC match.
High spots, death-defying leaps. The Young Bucks.
Pre-coordinated spots, pre-coordinated high spots, the use of furniture, the use
holy
of
shit moments.
Yeah, right. Facts. All of this.
This is it. And again, it was the first TLC match.
True.
So yeah, this is it, because you've built pay-per-views off of this one match.
Yeah, you've built branding points off of this. People have this listed as a top 5 WrestleMania match for them if they're not counting work rate, because there's just so many jaw-dropping elements to it. This is part of the reason Jeff Hardy's so popular. Still.
25 years after this match, 30 years after he started his career, still. Our second Mania from Skydome Toronto, WrestleMania X8. X7 seemed great. X7 seemed great. X8 was just a bad name. Just call it 18 and be done with it. There's only one option here.
I mean, at this point, like I say, that whole stretch of post 2000, 2001, 2, and 3 are kind of weird because everybody's trying to be trendy and different, and you're trying to find a way to. You're trying to do a lot of stuff that's kind of too much.
Yeah. Back to Canada for X8. There's only one option here.
Thank you.
Your main event: Triple H versus Chris Jericho for the Undisputed Championship. Little known fact for those of you who are new to us or new to this, Chris Jericho was your first undisputed WWF champion, defeating The Rock and Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
The only answer here is a match that if you go back and watch it, this also has crept into the top 5. Has possibly always been in the top 5 since it happened, and is one of the greatest matches for both of these guys, period, in their careers.
The playbook for fans hijacking a situation.
This possibly could have been the predecessor for the Raw after Mania, based on what happened in this match. The Rock versus Good Try Terry.
I mean, there's no argument for me. Like, everything about it. Fans hijacking a situation. They literally turned. They executed a double turn themselves
in the match without Rocky being a heel in the match that he came in as a face, like with a finger snap.
They hit this man with a car. When have you ever seen somebody who got hit by a car and came looking for retribution turned into the heel?
Oh boy.
Like, yeah, it's the blueprint for everything that Daniel Bryan's situation ended up becoming, because the fans realized they could hijack a situation and change things in real time.
Oh, I got the MVP for this one here too. At WrestleMania 19, Safeco Field, Seattle. The top of the card here. Triple H versus Booker T for the World Heavyweight Championship. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Good Try Terry versus Mr. McMahon in a street fight.
Full circle.
A retirement street fight at that. The last time we get to see Rock and Stone Cold, which this one didn't hold a candle to the previous ones, but it was the last time we saw them two in the ring against each other.
Rock finally got his victory.
His comeuppance.
Yep.
And this is right before Cacao Rock. But this was also a coming out party for the Beast, Brock Lesnar, defeating Kurt Angle for the WWF Championship, even though Brock broke his neck during the damn match.
Bruh.
He hit a lunging, what was that shooting star press halfway across the ring and didn't make it. But it was also one of the longest matches of his career. And probably one of the reasons he didn't have long matches up to the end of his career, which was at Mania this year.
The only reason he doesn't hit that shooting star press because he double clutches in midair to get
which was fire. It was a fire move. It was great for the aesthetic, bad for the execution.
If you were jumping about maybe 5 feet closer,
or Angle just rolled over.
right. If Angle, no, because with the way Lesnar came down, if Angle rolls in 24 inches or 2 feet, we're probably we putting somebody.
We got the best possible outcomes. I mean, Lesnar may have broken his
right,
but he won, and we got 20 more years out of him. And Angle, we got the best Angle from TNA out of him after this. So all things accounted for. And this was also billed as a wrestling match because you had two legitimate badass wrestlers in this match who became dope sports entertainers. That's what I got for my MVP is Brock and Lesnar. I mean Brock and Angle.
Let me see. I'll live with that because me trying to make a case for anything else is just gonna be making a case for the sake of it. Because you could go Hogan McMahon street fight just because they've had that fight in real life and they've had that fight the entire time they've been joined at the hip about who's responsible, who came first, the chicken or the egg.
That was a 20-year culmination, literally.
And then they kept fighting about it for another 5 years afterwards.
But it's one of those matches that's not talked about, whereas the Angle Lesnar match still is.
Agreed. The backstory and the behind the scenes aspect of Austin Rock 3 is incredibly entertaining and incredibly interesting. I don't know if it's like most valuable though. As you said, it wasn't the best match of the series. It's just the end of the series. Like
an end of an era too, like really.
Right, because Austin's retiring after this.
And Rock is going away to be The Rock.
Right, so you really lose both of them and you're trying to
because he's doing The Mummy and he's also doing Be Cool with this one. With this break.
Yeah, and both of those, that leaves the Scorpion King. So I'm with you. I'll ride with you, Lesnar Angle.
Work rate. WrestleMania 20, we're back in Madison Square Garden. There's a theme here.
Every 10, that's where we going. Well,
so
they broke
three key matches here. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the WWF Championship, Eddie's first World Championship. He Who Shall Remain Nameless versus Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, in which He Who Shall Remain Nameless and Eddie Guerrero, part of the Radicals, embraced to shut down the show. Then you also have the second WrestleMania match between Undertaker and his brother Kane. The streak continues, very, very monumental here. However, I think the more impactful victory for the World Championship, and is one that's seen more in reverence now with his passing, is going to be the Eddie Guerrero Kurt Angle match. And with Eddie Guerrero lying, cheating, and stealing his way through the path to the championship. To me, that's my MVP because it got the best reaction.
I got it.
The most memorable.
I got a different MVP for you.
Talk to me.
Cena versus Big Show.
Ooh.
The MVP
US title match.
It's the U.S. title match. So
yes,
that's Cena's first title. And we know what Cena went on to be.
That's Cena's first WrestleMania too, right?
Yes.
Well,
is he on 19 anywhere?
Let me go back because I didn't even look at that. Forgot all about his impact.
Yeah, I don't think he was involved in 19 at all.
Let's see here.
He might have cut a promo or like done, like a freestyle with Bull Buchanan with him or something. But I know he didn't have a match. But I think maybe
no, he was not on the card.
Yeah, so that's Cena's first WrestleMania, his first singles championship. He performs his feat of strength by F Ewing, the Big Show.
And this is what begets the Spinner Championship. Merchandise.
We getting money with Cena for the next 15 years off of this.
All right. And then lastly for the day, WrestleMania 21. Man, this is fun. This is fun. Right. WrestleMania goes Hollywood for the first time.
WrestleMania been Hollywood.
Facts. Hold on, give you your propers on that one. This has a WWE Championship #1 contenders tournament featuring John Cena, Orlando Jordan, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, Undertaker, and Rene Dupree, which sorry for your luck, guys, and Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle. Getting to your finals, John Cena and Kurt Angle for the #1 contender for Bradshaw's WWE Championship on the same show. Oh, I'm sorry, no, it wasn't the same show because the tournament happened at I forgot what show that was at.
Would that have been like No Way Out right before?
No, it happened through the whole month of February. It happened over the course of 3 weeks. So I'm guessing it probably would have been SmackDown.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Based on branding, I think it probably would have happened on SmackDown. On this card though, for the WWE Championship, Batista versus Triple H, John Cena versus Bradshaw for the WWE Championship, based off of his win in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels in their first WrestleMania match, which was that one for the match quality might be my MVP.
Which one is that?
Michaels and Angle.
I can see that because that's where we really start to solidify Michaels as Mr. WrestleMania. That's where he's pretty much solidifies his nickname. Who else on here would kind of qualify? This is a coming out party for Randy Orton. We're also still counting the streak at this point. The streak is a thing. It's a thing that we talk about full-fledged now. So it's becoming an attraction and a selling point for WrestleMania. Cena getting his first world championship. Again, you know what Cena became. We got money with him for the next 15 years. We still getting money with him now. We just stopped booking him for matches. Triple H did the right thing and put Batista where he needed to be. We got some money with Batista for a pretty decent stretch.
Oh, and Batista and Cena at the top of this card. We've had this conversation, and Rock not being on this card for obvious reasons. Money makers in movies, and Batista right now is our #1. Boy, listen.
You know what I'm saying? Value wise, I think, it could be The Undertaker and Orton. It could be Angle Michaels. It could be Cena and Bradshaw. It could be Batista Triple H. It's kind of a coin flip, like which one you felt like had the most impact going forward. Which one maybe carried?
I'm gonna tell you what you don't want to hear.
Uh-oh.
This version of Kurt Angle is what begot the best part of his career in TNA.
Yeah.
And even though it's not impactful to WWE or WrestleMania,
Death Watch angle.
Yes, it is the magnum opus for Kurt Angle in WWE, and ergo giving people from WWE another place to work.
Hey, keep it G though. Is it not the first Money in the Bank, considering what that brand ended up becoming?
Ooh.
Like, you built a brand off Money in the Bank. You've built a whole lot of angles off of it.
Entered the chat because even though it was the opening match or the second match of 25, it became a pay-per-view based off of the you know what? The MVP is Money in the Bank, because now it's a staple. Good call, Swat. This is why we have conversations. Money in the Bank is the MVP. And this Money in the Bank match, ooh, look at you looking outside and up in this simultaneously. Pause. Edge, Chris Jericho, the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin, Chris, well, he shall remain nameless, Christian and Kane.
You see what I'm saying? You get Edge in his first championship as a result of this. Edge basically cements his heel turn and really becomes a character that stands out on his own based on this.
Same with Christian. He becomes a single star off of this.
Shelton is what Shelton is. He's a freak of nature.
Shelton's a freak of nature. Shelton and Brock Lesnar being college roommates is not an accident.
Look, I'm gonna double down on that's what I want at SummerSlam. If you know we gonna get anything as a send off for Lesnar, I want it to be with Shelton, but contractually it just won't happen.
But if they had someone to give up for a trade for one night, that would be it. I just don't know who wins company wise with that one.
Everybody wins with that.
His organization of life wins with that one. And on that note,
wrestling fans win with that. and at this point, for as much money as we've been gouged for, why can't wrestling fans win at least once?
Especially with two guys who were bred in Minnesota.
Give them 20 minutes and get the hell out the way.
That would be the equivalent of Ric Flair versus Nick Bockwinkel.
Say, San Martino versus Angle.
No, I'm saying that because they're both. It's all Minneapolis. That's where they went to school at. You know what I'm saying? That's literally where they started at, and it's where they would finish at. So
then there's that.
Yeah. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. It's at brokenpencilbc on all things social. At brokenpencilbc on what?
Everything.
And
everything.
Where'd it go? I really hope that y'all understood everything that was happening here, because we got round 2 for WrestleMania 22 through 42. Yep. So the next time we on, as with every time, do me a favor.
If you fuck with me, shut the fuck up and listen to the bars.
Suave, take him to the house.
Pencil pushers, like, rate, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell that friend to tell a friend, and then tell that friend
again.
Heads up.
This is your daily acknowledgement. We didn't forget. You did.
Pencils down.
For a nominal fee.
That's all we ask.
Whole lot of fucking gang shit.